All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are still fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this Utah shooting that took place. So, through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and the Lord's will you're edified. Says 2 officers killed and a third is wounded in a Utah shooting, authorities say. The 2 police officers responding to a domestic disturbance call were shot and killed in Utah, and a man was taken into custody after bystanders persuaded him to drop the gun, authorities said Monday. A sheriff's deputy and a police dog were shot and wounded in their car as they arrived to help at a neighborhood in Tremonton on Sunday night. The deputy from Box Elder County was released from the hospital Monday, and the dog was hospitalized in fair condition. He said these officers are definitely heroes, Police Chief Chad Reyes in neighboring Brigham City said at a news conference Monday morning. So we really don't know what we're walking into, he said, of domestic disturbance calls, and they are one of the most dangerous events that we can be dispatched on. Police received multiple 911 hang-up calls from a home in the city. A single officer from the Tremonton Garland Police Department arrived first and was speaking to someone at the home when the man came out with a gun, police said in a news release. Reyes said he believed the man lived at the house. Said the male opened fire on the officer, striking and killing the officer. A second officer from the department who responded was immediately fired upon by the same male suspect and was killed. After the officers were shot, bystanders persuaded the man to put down his weapon, police said. Up to 50 officers from multiple agencies responded. SWAT teams arrived to clear the home and verify that there was no further threat. The ranch-style home was cordoned off by yellow crime scene tape Monday. A trampoline and a blue children's pool could be seen on the front lawn. Utah Governor Spencer Cox called what happened a terrible and tragic night. He posted online that he joined the state in mourning the loss of these courageous law enforcement officers. The man was arrested on charges of aggravated murder, police said in the news release. The names of the officers and the suspect have not been released. Tremonton, which has about 13,000 people, is in northern Utah, about 75 miles north of Salt Lake City, at the junction of Interstates 15 and 84. It advertises itself as a favorite midway stop for vacations to destinations such as Yellowstone National Park, Bryce Canyon, and the Grand Canyon. It also calls itself Utah's City of Murals, with a walking tour featuring 18 works of public art. Yeah, and I believe that whoever the shooter was, I believe it was an Edomite, a so-called white man, because you know good and well if it was a Jake, they would have killed him. Nobody would have been trying to, persuade him to put the gun down. They would have been calling for more cops to get there to kill him. So that's why I believe that it was an Edomite. Because, a Jake kills a cop and they kill him. But an Edomite kills a cop and they arrest him. And that's the difference between us. Or one of the multitude of differences between Israelites and Edomites is how the police treat us. But either way, this guy who killed these 2 officers and wounded that third officer and his dog, that guy was a spirit of vengeance. And the Lord used him to execute that judgment. Ecclesiasticus 39:28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. And that man definitely did lay on some sore strokes upon those officers in the form of shooting them. And that judgment appeased or satisfied the wrath of the Lord who, wanted that judgment to take place. Verse 29, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. And that's right. Death is a spirit of vengeance. And those two officers who died, they, they got visited by that particular spirit of vengeance. And now they're in the spirit. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And in this particular judgment, the Lord killed 2 officers, wounded 1, and wounded a police dog. And for those 2 officers that died, there was nothing that could have been done to save them. The Lord, had it out for them. So they walked into their judgment. So 1 Samuel 2:6, the Lord Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. That's right, because nobody dies or gets wounded without the Lord greenlighting it. So the Lord greenlit for those 2 cops to get killed and for that 1 cop to get wounded. That's why it played out that way. All judgments come from the Lord and they play out how he plans them. Job 4:7, remember I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? And the answer is that nobody has ever perished being innocent. So those 2 cops, they were not innocent in the eyes of the Lord. In the eyes of people, the cops were just doing their job. They got a call to go to that house for a domestic disturbance. They showed up, and what ended up happening happened. But in the eyes of the Lord, they were not innocent, because if they were innocent, the Lord wouldn't have had them walk into that. Verse 8, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. And that's the time and season that we're in. These wicked people reaping what they've sown. Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Verse 2, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. And we are in that time and season where a lot of people are going to die, men, women, and children alike, because they're wicked in the eyes of the Lord, and the Lord is angry with them. Luke 12:51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. And we're going to see a lot more incidents like this of police getting called and then getting wounded or killed. Getting called to, someone's house or to a certain location, and then they end up getting killed. We're going to see a lot more people versus the police, people versus the government in general. Now, I don't know for certain that this particular situation was an ambush, but, it ended with, 2 cops dead and 1 cop wounded, and the police dog also wounded. So clearly, the person who did the shooting had no love for the police. And we're going to see a lot more of that as time goes on. And, there's more friction between civilians and police officers. That's how you know that we're living in the last days, though, because it's just like things just keep getting worse. The division, the fires, the storms, the tempests, the earthquakes, the shootings, the stabbings. Everything just keeps escalating. That's why I'm constantly saying that those of us of the hopeful elect, we got to continue to stay prayed up and stay circumspect out here. Because you just never know when the judgments of the Lord are going to take place. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. Closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. The Wadi Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for putting his spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Honors to other brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom to other sincere believers. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, shalom.